We are discussing about transport in plants, and this is the other method by which materials are transported, and it's osmosis, and it is the movement of solvent or water molecules from the region of lower solute concentration to the region of higher solute concentration, and it occurs through a semi permeable membrane. Okay, this is osmosis. What it refers is, it refers to the movement of solvent or water molecules. Okay, any solvent, movement of any solvent or water molecules from the region of lower solute concentration. It refers to the solute concentration if it is less. Okay, if the concentration of the solute is less in one medium or in one part, and it when it moves to the region of the higher solute concentration. Okay, there are two places where in one place there is less concentration of solute, whereas in the other region there is higher solute concentration. So when transport occurs between these two regions, that is from the region of the lower solute concentration and to the region of the higher solute concentration through a semi permeable membrane, in that case this kind of movement is called osmosis. This is carried out till an equilibrium is reached. The osmosis, or in this osmosis process, what happens is the moment it occurs till an equilibrium is reached. That is, till in both the regions the balance or the equal state is reached. So till then the process will occur. After that it will stop. Osmosis is the passive movement of water or any other solvent molecule. So here also osmosis also, it does not involve energy. So here it is also called a passive movement. So it's a very simple experiment to prove osmosis. So this is a beaker with water, and this is the thistle funnel inside which sugar solution is taken, and the mouth of the thistle funnel is covered by a membrane, that is a semi permeable membrane. So this is the setup. Okay, it has to be held in position by means of a stand. So in this setup you can understand it's a very simple experiment, you must have learnt in your lower classes. So outside, that is in the beaker, it is water where the solute concentration is less. The concentration of solute is less in the outside region, whereas in the inside the thistle funnel it is sugar solution, so the concentration of the solute is more. So what happens is, after some time, the water molecules, that is water molecules from the beaker, due to that is as it has lower concentration, solute concentration is lower, so water molecules move into this region of the solute concentration which is higher through this semi permeable membrane. So after some time, when you observe this thistle funnel, you can see here the water level has raised. So you can understand this, in the funnel the water level has raised. It is due to osmosis. That is, water molecules enter into the thistle funnel through the semi permeable membrane, and this kind of movement from the region of the lower solute concentration to the region of the higher solute concentration is called osmosis. So this is a very simple experiment to prove osmosis. We'll move on to the next one. Here this is a term which refers to plasmolysis. Plasmo refers to plasma membrane, lysis refers to that is disfiguration or destroy. Okay, it occurs when water moves out of the cell and resulting in the shrinkage of cell membrane away from the cell wall. So you can understand this is the normal cell, and this outside is the cell wall, this one, and inner to that is cell membrane, plasma membrane. So when water moves out of the cell, what is resulted is the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, it shrinks. So it results in the shrinkage of the cell membrane. So it moves away. Cell membrane or the plasma membrane moves away from the cell wall. Here it is closer to the cell wall, but here the membrane, it moves. Okay, it loses its shape also. So this is called plasmolysis. So this is also a kind of movement, and this is another kind of movement called imbibition. It is a type of diffusion. It is also a kind of diffusion in which a solid absorbs water and gets swelled up. Example, absorption of water by seeds and dry grapes. So it's also a very simple process. In our day-to-day activities, you must have seen it also. If grapes are, okay, dry grapes are, that is put in water, what will happen after some time? Grapes become swollen. So that is due to this diffusion, is a type of diffusion called imbibition. Okay, so if not only dry grapes, even seeds also, if seeds are soaked in that is a wet soil or soaked in, or they are put in water, what will happen is after some time they become swollen. Okay, so this that is they absorb water. The water molecules are taken up by grapes, dry grapes or the seeds. So this method of diffusion is called imbibition. If it were not for imbibition, what will happen? What would have happened is seedlings would not have been able to emerge out of the soil. So if seeds that is if they don't get inside the water molecules, if water molecules do not get into the seeds due to this process called imbibition. Okay, so imagine no imbibition at all, what will happen? Seeds cannot absorb water, that is water molecules cannot get into the seed, and seedlings also would not emerge out of the soil. So it's an important process which is very important or essential for the seedlings to emerge out from the seeds. So this is a simple picture to show that dry raisins soaked in water. So raisins after imbibition, okay, they become swollen, and they increase in the size also increases. So this is a root hair water absorbing unit. So how this water absorbing unit, root hair, it serves as water absorbing unit. There are millions of root hairs on the tip of the root which absorb water and minerals by diffusion. We think roots are essential, roots absorb water, but it's a mechanism that is by which water is absorbed. So for that, there are millions and millions of root hairs are present at the tip of the root which absorb water and minerals by diffusion. So here also diffusion is an important process which helps in water moving into the plant from the soil. Root hairs are thin-walled, slender extension of epidermal cells that increase the surface area of absorption. So root hairs are, the nature of the root hairs are thin-walled and slender also. They are the slender extension of epidermal cells. Okay, that is the outer layer. It is made of epidermal cells and roots and stem. When we learnt about the anatomy, you have learnt it. So actually root hairs are the extensions from the epidermal cells. So that increase the surface area of absorption. So this is the picture to show the root hair, and this is the tip of the root. You can see here number of root hairs. Okay. So this is the diagrammatic representation to show the pathway of water absorbed by roots. So you can understand outside is soil particles. So water from the soil enters into the root hair by absorption. Okay, due to absorption, that is root hairs absorb water. So water molecules move from the root hair, then they move on to this cortex region. This is cortex region. So this is the epidermal cells, which and the root hairs are the extensions of the epidermal cells, and this is the cortex region. So now water slowly moves through this cortex. So they move across cortex cells, then they move across phloem, then water molecules enter into xylem. From xylem they move up to other parts or top parts of the plant. So this is what is the mechanism that involves in the absorption of the water by root hairs. So once the water molecules enters the root hairs, what happens is the concentration of the water molecules in the root hair cells become more than that of the cortex. Okay, so I'm going back to the picture. So what will happen is when water enters into the root hair, what will happen is concentration increases compared to cortex cells. So the concentration of the concentration inside the root hair cells increases due to water taken up by the root hair cells. But in cortex, it is less. So due to that, the movement of the water into the cortex becomes possible.